Hello everyone, welcome once again to ReRun Productions and welcome back to Vauxhall Stadium. It's a glorious sunny evening here in Ipswich, and it's certainly Saturday night. Speedway comes to Vauxhall Heath normally about once a year, and tonight's the night as we have more Sky Sports Elite League action for you. Of course, the Ipswich Evening Star Witches and the Peterborough ASL Freight Panthers. Of course, the Panthers tipped by many at the start of the year to be up there front running in the Elite League, and so that's proved this year, even with the loss of Jesper B. Jensen a few weeks ago. That hasn't dented their run of form any, and they are still serious challengers obviously for the Sky Sports Elite League in 2006. This is the second leg of the B round of fixtures, the Witches and the Panthers having met at the East of England Showground on June the 29th, with the Panthers winning that 50-40. So the Witches know the magnitude of their task tonight if they are to not only win here, but also collect an all-important aggregate bonus point, because they are really going to come into play now as the sharp end of the season is upon us. Peterborough had the benefit of the A fixtures as well, winning at the East of England Showground 55-38, although the Witches did restore some pride here on June the 8th with a win 48-42, but not enough really to seriously challenge for the bonus point. So whether it's a different story tonight or not remains to be seen, but they'll certainly have to improve on the A-leg performance if they are indeed to do that. Peterborough show a blank in their programme tonight, and Karol Zabig is away on Polish under-21 duty, so his place is taken by Conference League rider Joel Parsons. Other than that, it's a very usual looking Peterborough side with Hans Andersen number one, of course, former Witches number one, a Grand Prix winner and a Grand Prix member now for the remainder of the 2006 season following Tony Rickardson's premature retirement from the series and indeed the sport. Hans has been granted a permanent status for the remainder of the Grand Prix series, so remains to see what he does, but it's figured so well in the Grand Prix that he's done. He scored 17 in the corresponding away fixture. Ulrich Ostergaard 6+2, Ryan Sullivan 9+2 at the East of England Showground. Niels-Kristian Everson, the other Panther who's permanently in the Grand Prix, he scored 13 and 1 at the Showground. So rider replacement operated for Jesper B. Jensen, and Richard Hall at reserve 6 and 1. For the Evening Star Witches, a defeat last night at Coventry just by 2 points in the end. The Witches sort of drifted in the first half of the meet and then clawed their way back, but not sufficiently to get anything out of the meeting, going down to a 2-point defeat. But say at the East of England Showground last night, something scratching my ear. We were without Piotr Protasevich. Ales Strimmel, he guested for the Witches and scored 7. Kim Janssen scored 2. Robert Moscoviak 7 and 1. Whilst Chris Louis scored 6. Mark Lorham 7. Carl Wilkinson is riding tonight, but it was Danny King at Peterborough. He scored 9, and Toby Croner 2+1. So that's how they performed previously. Chris Louis, incidentally, the only man at the East of England Showground in the first leg to beat Hans Andersen. Hans Andersen 17 points. Otherwise, he'd have gone through the card. I keep looking over my shoulder because I'm trying to get a witch as they come in. So elusive are the Ipswich riders. But we have to grab them early doors. And 6 of them have gone through your screen, and Chris Louis is the only one that remains. So, Toby Croner, but we spoke to him last week, didn't we, at the end? So we'll bank on Chris Louis, and we hope that he'll give us some time. I'm sure he will, because he knows how important these ReRun Productions are. So it's going to be another glorious evening here. We expect a bumper attendance. Not very often we have Saturday night Speedway here at Vauxhall. It's free children accompanied with an adult via a voucher in the sponsor's paper, the Evening Star. So all bodes well for some great action here at Vauxhall Heath tonight. So the action does come up very shortly, but we'll mingle and circulate and grab a couple of riders to chat. Right, joining us in Witches skipper Chris Louis, just been in late consultation with Bob Ellis about the track on these dry, hot, sunny evenings. It's always difficult to prepare, but Bob always does us an excellent job.
Yeah, it's, you know, he always does his best, gives 100%, and the track's always pretty consistent. So it's all you can ask for a home track. You don't want it to be different every time you turn up.
And say Peterborough in town, and consistent track conditions is something we haven't had at the East of England Showground, and we trail this leg by 10. Are you confident we can make up that and get a bonus point tonight?
I think we're thinking about the wind to start with, and if it's looking good, then obviously we'll push harder and harder and harder. But I think it's important that we keep the home run going and win at home.
And last night at Coventry, it was a case of oh so near but yet so far. A late rally wasn't quite enough.
No, I mean, we were very level sides all the way through. It was just 2 races in the first 3 heats that they got 5-1s, and that was the difference between the sides. And as you say, we made a late rally, but it was possibly a bit too late.
And conditions there had a part to play. Reading the paper that riders thinking it was a tad too grippy, if that's the case in a speedway match.
I mean, it didn't worry us. It didn't make for good racing, but no, I mean, we enjoyed the track. It's just that it was difficult to pass on more than anything. Everybody thinks you've got to have a load of dirt to pass on, but it just depends how the track's prepared, and it didn't make sort of racing lines, really.
Saturday night Speedway in Ipswich not happen very often, so expecting a bumper attendance and a lot of interest still in Ipswich Speedway this year. We've got BBC Radio Suffolk promoting, of course, next week, because they're broadcasting live from here against Reading, who are coincidentally claiming their attendances are dropping, whereas the opposite really to be said for Ipswich.
Yeah, I mean, I think, well, I was going to say a lot of it depends on the team you've got, but obviously Reading have got an exciting team and they've got obviously a winning team at the moment, so I don't really know what's going on down there, but as far as Ipswich is concerned, I think it's been promoted very well, and I think the team's exciting, and the track is, Bob prepares a good fair track for everybody to race on, and the racing's been brilliant, so the entertainment's there and people come and watch it.
I mean, speaking to Brian Knights, he said they'd had numerous requests at BBC Radio Suffolk as to why they don't do much live speedway. It hasn't been done for a number of years, so it's really another feather in the club's cap.
Yeah, it is. I mean, obviously there's lulls between each heat, which is difficult, but with radio obviously you can fill it with music and stuff, and the racing, to be fair, but the few times I've listened to Speedway on the radio, it actually can be very exciting.
And so your own form, it continues to be very good. I mean, you guested last week at Arena and for Oxford, and a 15-pointer, so pleased with that performance, obviously.
Yeah, it's sort of become a second home down the A12 there, Arena. Quite enjoying myself there at the moment.
You won't ever sign for him though, will you?
No. No, you're absolutely right, I won't.
OK, well, all the best for tonight. Thanks for joining.
Thank you.
Right, we're in the Panthers side of the pits now with Niels-Kristian Everson, and the Panthers won the corresponding fixture by 10 points, so confidence must be high.
Yeah, I mean, it's always hard to come here and win a meeting, but I think we'll do our best tonight, and we'll see what we end up at.
Obviously, still using rider replacement for Jesper B. Jensen. How difficult is that for the team? Because Jesper was scoring so well, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was scoring really well. I mean, it gets a little bit more pressure on Hans and Ryan and myself, and because we have to take a ride each and do well every time. So if one of us have a bad night, then it affects the team a little bit more.
You obviously fly around the East of England showground. We've seen you in action there. How do you cope with the smaller tracks? You like Ipswich as a track?
Not really. Normally I end up on the stock car track.
But for a ride like yourself, now in the Grand Prix, obviously you have to learn and adjust and develop your skills accordingly for all different types of circuits.
Yeah, I mean, it's here to be ridden anyway, so I'll do my best tonight, and hopefully I can turn things around for this place and have a good meeting.
Hans Andersen, when the World Cup was on, freely admitted that the Danes rode so well at Reading, and he particularly, because Reading was based on Ipswich. I don't know if you know that when they built it, the dimensions based here. So he had sort of first-hand knowledge of Reading via his Ipswich connection. So does he pass on knowledge to you guys about Ipswich from his time here?
Yeah, I mean, he just tells a little bit about what he do with his setups for the bikes, and then we just have to try to do the same thing.
And of course, Hans joins you now in the Grand Prix for the remainder of the series, taking over Tony Ricardson's place. So you'll be sort of club partners but rivals on the Grand Prix.
Yeah, I mean, we're still rivals when we meet in Poland, Sweden, and them places. But yeah, I mean, I think it's good for Hans that he's riding in the rest of the Grand Prix, so he can try to see if he can qualify for next year.
And obviously for Denmark as a nation, things looking very good. World Cup winners and a whole host of riders coming through that look like Danish Speedway will prosper for a number of years now.
It is, definitely. I mean, we had the Danish final last night, and we had nearly 7,000 people there, so I think it's really good for Danish Speedway at the moment.
And you think the Panthers have got what it takes to last the course in the Elite League? Many tipped them at the start of the year to get the honours. You think Panthers can push all the way for a final place in the Elite League?
Yeah, I certainly hope so. I mean, the whole team is doing well. We have good top riders. We have the reserve doing well every meeting and pick up good points. So yeah, hopefully we can keep up the good form and maybe go all the way.
And you're used in many of the Sky Sports Speedway promotions, their VTs, this pin-up status that you've sort of acquired, that's not too much of a burden for you, and don't have to fend the ladies off too much where you go?
Not really.
Okay, welcome to Foxhall and enjoy your evening.
All right, cheers.
Right, so that's a few words from the Panthers, Niels-Kristian Everson, and the Witches captain, Chris Louis, of course. Our regular commentator, Nick Knowles, he's away tonight, so not doing it live from trackside, but from a dark dubbing booth somewhere, putting on the commentary for you tonight. It's Steve Gerwood.
Well, you'll have to shush for that. Yeah, well, most certainly is Kevin, and great value for money as always, his intros especially, as the riders are out on the track as you can see, and Hans Anderson and Chris Louis with a coin has just been tossed. A massive crowd has turned up for this fixture here this evening as Peterborough tried to defend a 10-point lead from the first leg, if you like, of this B fixture. And Chris, well, I think he has won the toss over his old teammate Hans Anderson as we introduce the riders. And at number 7 for the Peterborough ASL Freight Panthers, it is Joel Parsons, the young Australian. Well, he's ridden for a few tracks in the Elite League this year, getting some priceless experience. At number 6, it is Richard Hall, the former Sheffield rider, but joined Peterborough full-time in 2006. Certainly showing plenty of ambition. That's great to see amongst a young English rider. At number 5, it is rider replacement for Jesper B. Jensen. At number 4, we've got Niels-Kristian Everson, and was his head to Kevin, not one of his favourite tracks. Remember, he went through the fence and landed at the feet of Jonathan Green and Kelvin Tate in the Sky televised fixture here last season, I believe it was, against Oxford, maybe in the year before. But not a great liking for this circuit. Ryan Sullivan, he rides at number 3. He's had some terrific scores here over the years. At number 2, it is Ulrich Østergaard. And at number 1, the new main Dane perhaps, it is Hans Anderson, the former Ipswich rider. And still very popular here. Of course, spent 2 seasons with the Suffolk outfit, over to the Ipswich Evening Star Witches, and the team of 2006. At number 7, it is young Toby Kroner. He's slotted in very well to the Ipswich lineup. The young German who scored at Pay 2 last night, as Kevin mentioned, at Coventry. At number 6, it is Carl Wilkinson. He's struggled a bit of late riding for the Witches, who are going for a much better evening tonight. This sun-drenched circuit here at Ipswich. At number 5, it is the 2000 World Champion, thoroughly enjoying his year. It is, of course, the one and only Mark Lawrence. Top scored last night against Coventry, only lost out in his first ride to Rory Schlein. At number 4 is the skipper, and it is Chris Louis. A brilliant maximum for him last Wednesday at Arena Essex. Riding for Oxford at number 3, it is Robert Moscowiak. At number 2, steady on Mick, up on our bird's nest. At number 2, it is Kim Janssen, everybody. And at number 1 is Pepe Protasevich. Pepe, well, he has been struggling a little bit with his scores of late. Only scored Page 6 last night at Coventry, so he was certainly hoping for a much better return here this evening as we get ready for heat number 1. And Pepe, well, he is out in this opening race. He is joined by Kim Janssen against Hans Anderson and Ulrich Ostergaard. So the Panthers are there still in the top 4 position in the Sky Sports Elite League table. It's pretty tight at the top. Reading, Swindon, Bellevue, Peterborough, Ipswich, Coventry, Poole coming into the equation. They've all got hopes, and even Wolverhampton, they've all got hopes of making it through to the playoffs. Could be any one of those teams who make it through. The bonus points are going to start to be very crucial indeed. And remember, Ipswich have got a 10-point deficit to make up if they wish to claim 3 points here this evening. Heat number 1, it will be underway very shortly indeed. Paul Carrington, the man on the button here this evening. Heat number 1, on goes the green light, up goes Tate, and into the first turn with Protestant from the inside, has made an excellent start. He leads away from Anderson in second place. Third spot is Kim Janssen with Ulrich Ostergaard at the back, but it is Pepe who leads. Here comes Anderson now around the outside. A lap gone. The Ipswich number 1 out in front against his opposite number, but Pepe, when he made the slightest error, and Anderson was through in a flash. He goes through into first place. When these two teams met in the A fixture in early June, it resulted in a 6 points victory for Ipswich. That would not be enough for tonight, of course, to collect all 3 points. First and foremost, they do want to get the win, and then see where they go from there, where they can get the 3 points on offer. As Hans Anderson, well, he leads the way. Peterborough, of course, well, they have had a great year away from the showground. They have won 6 times on their travels, hence they're sitting in a regular position in the league table at the moment. As Hans Anderson, he wins heat number 1, following a slight error by Protasevich, and we can see that again here as they come around at the end of lap number 1, and Pepe were just maybe caught out by track conditions. They've had to water the track well here this evening with the glorious evening we have got, and Anderson was able to take advantage. 59.2 is winning time as we come on to race number 2 then, and the lineup for this one. We got Richard Hall coming out off gate number 1. Gate number 2, that sees Carl Wilkinson. Gate number 3, it is Joel Parsons. And from the outside, Toby Kroner. The reserves out for this one then. Toby, well, he scored paid 11 against Oxford here just over a week ago. Great performance that by him. We don't for much the same here this evening as heat number 2 is about to get underway. And as the tapes fly up, well, it's the rider in green who's made a good start. That is Richard Hall. He leads away from Kroner on his outside. Cole Wilkinson is in third. Joel Parsons is at the back as they come in a completely opening lap. It is Kroner, in fact, who's now putting Richard Hall under pressure, and he's managed to move through into first place. And, well, Cole Wilkinson, was there a bit of a nudge there between him and Richard Hall? Well, he did look a little bit uncomfortable going into that first bend, and he has come down. The race has had to be stopped with Hall still down on the ground. And, well, what will referee Paul Carrington make of that? We're taking another look here. You can see Toby Kroner has just come through into first place. And, well, second spot there, that was very tight indeed. That's a 50-50 call for the referee. And what way is it going? You can see how wet the track conditions are, so they have to water the track very heavily indeed. And well, as you can see, it has gone in Peterborough's favour because Carl Wilkinson, it is who's been excluded, has been the cause of the stoppage. Mike Smiley, well, he was straight on the phone to the referee Paul Carrington, but made not to announce the difference because Carl has been excluded, has been the cause of the stoppage. So the rerun of the reserves race, heat number 2, it gets underway, and it is the rider in green once more. It is young Richard Hall who's made a good start. Kroner comes around his outside once again and moves through into first place. Hall is in second with Joel Parsons in third place. As they go down the back straight, it is Kroner who leads the way. Ipswich, well, they've got some very important matches coming up over the next week or so. They're at Bellevue a couple of days time, then they go down to Poole, then they're against Reading here next Thursday. Big week for them, a couple of matches away from home, and here against the league leaders as Toby Croner, he's going to win heat number 2. Second place that goes to Hall, third spot to Joel Parsons. Carl Wilkinson, well, he certainly won't feel best pleased with his exclusion in that one. 60.3 the winning time, as our main man Mick, there he goes, he's got Toby back in focus. The German certainly was focused at the start as he took the victory. It's our second 3-all of the meeting. Scores are level at 6 points apiece as Toby goes round on his lap of honour. Another rider who's become popular here very quickly indeed. Hey, look at the crowd down the back straight. A huge crowd has turned up for this fixture. Certainly one of the biggest of the seasons as we come on to heat number 3 then. And the lineup for this one, where we got Robert Moscoviak coming out in red, in blue. It is Chris Louis, Ryan Sullivan is in green, Niels-Kristian Everson, he comes out in yellow. In case you're wondering why there's no Daniel King at reserve this evening, of course he rides for Mildenhall in the Premier League. That's his number 1 team, and they're up at Workington tonight, so that hence Carl Wilkinson gets an extra outing for the Witches. Heat number 3 then. Just waiting for Chris Louis off gate number 1 to settle down at the start line. Heat 3, up fly the tape, and it is Louis from the inside who's made a great start. He was absolutely unbelievable at Arena Essex on Wednesday night, and we're still leading the way, but Everson, the Grand Prix rider, is making a challenge. Louis is those out in first place, Everson is in second. In third place we've got Ryan Sullivan with Moscoviak, who's known for his fast gating. He didn't do so well in that one, and he's at the back as Chris Louis leads the way, who's part of the Team GB side that rode at Reading in the World Team Cup final. Oh, a great occasion that for Chris. He's certainly doing well here. Heat number 3, he leads the way from Everson in second. Of course, Niels, certainly was a great occasion for him. Denmark lifting the title, first time in many seasons. As Luby, he wins heat number 3. Second place goes to Everson, third spot to Sullivan, with Moscoviak at the back in that one. 59.8 was the winning time. And that's 3 shared heats to start with. The scores obviously level at 9 points apiece. As we move on to race number 4, and this heat, where it sees Toby Croner coming out in blue off gate number 1. Gate number 2 sees Joel Parsons. There is the young Aussie. Gate number 3 it is Mark Loram, and from the outside we've got rider replacement, and that is Ulrich Østergaard, who comes out in this one. No Nick Knowles tonight. He's couldn't make tonight's fixture, so you're stuck with me, I'm afraid. 2 teams were there stuck as well at 9 points apiece. Will the deadlock be broken in heat 4? Tape drive and into that first turn. Well, it's rider in red off gate 3. Mark Loram it is who leads away from Toby Croner in second place. Østergaard is back in third. Joel Parsons at the back, so it does look as if Ipswich are going to draw first blood here. Parsons, in fact, well, he has moved through into third spot ahead of Østergaard. It is a 5-1 to the Evening Star Witches of Ipswich. As Mark Lorham leads the way, he's certainly not going to be caught in this one. A couple of laps gone. Riding on top form at the moment is Loransky. A look over his shoulder, but absolutely no danger. And the teammate behind him, of course, that is Toby. As they come in to start the final lap, the riders very much spaced out in this one. Not too much chance of team riding. In fact, the German, will he taking a tumble? He's come down, and well, the rider in green, that is Ulrich Østergaard. He could not avoid it, or perhaps he could, but he didn't, and I'm sure he wished that he had, because Østergaard, well, he has gone over the top of Toby Cronin's machine, and he's laying down prostrate on the floor, as you can see, on the shell. And, well, let's hope that he's okay. So we can see this one again here as Tobias Cronin, we've seen second place, and well, he comes down similar place where Richard Hall did in heat number 2. Joel Parsons managed to avoid him, but Ulrich Østergaard, well, he could not, didn't know which way to go, and in the end, well, he went straight, I'm afraid. He's laying down on the track. There is his machine, doesn't look too good. Joel Parsons, right, that was Cronin's machine, of course. And well, there is Østergaard. He in fact has been awarded third place, as Jeremy Doncaster, the trainer here at Ipswich, they're going to have to go on his second bike, and that's very unfortunate. Not only did he not get the race win, but or paid win, but also he suffered quite a bit of damage to his machine there. No time the race awarded. Our fourth shared heat then, as we move on to race 5, and the lineup for this one. Well, we've got Richard Hall coming out in place of Østergaard in this one. Understandably following that spiel in his last ride. So we've got Hall off gate number 1. Gate number 2 sees Robert Moscoviak started off with the last in his first ride. Gate number 3 is Hans Andersen. He got a victory in his first ride. And nearest the camera, it is Chris Lewis. This could be quite a battle between the two former teammates. Heat number 5. Up by the tape and into that first turn. Moscoviak has made a much better gate, and he leads away from Anderson in second place. Here comes Anderson, but Robert, well, he's just about got the beating of him at the moment. Chris Louis is back in third spot with Richard Hall. Bringing up the rear, a lap gone, it is Moscoviak who leads the way. The home crowd, where they're cheering him on. Can the pole take a victory against Hans Anderson, who's been scoring points for fun all season, really? Certainly since the first month of the season. In fact, Anderson now coming through on the inside, and he's taken first place over Moscoviak in second. Chris Louis back in third to Robert, who's unable to keep the Peterborough number 1 and captain behind him for the whole 4 laps. Managed to do well to hold him off for a couple, but it is Hans Anderson, who knows his track so very well, of course. Having spent 2 seasons here, he's leading the way. He's going to take the win in heat number 5. Second place goes to Moscoviak. Third spot to Chris Louis. Richard Hall at the back. Our 5th shared heat. So certainly looking likely as if Peterborough are going to get the bonus point at this stage of the meeting. And we can see here how Anderson, well, he came through from the back against Protasevich, and he's found a way past Moscoviak as well. His winning time 59.9 seconds. Our 5th straight shared heat, 15 points each, as we get ready for heat number 6. And this race brings out Kim Janssen off gate number 1. Off gate number 2 we got ride replacement, that is Niels-Kristian Eversen, second place in his first ride. Gate 3 it is Pepe Protasevich, and outside it is Richard Hall. He had gate number 1 in his last ride, of course, heat 5. Off gate 4 this time around, he improved on his last outing, heat number 6. As the riders go into that first corner, and it is Janssen who's made a good start. He leads the way. Here comes Protasevich storming around the outside of Eversen, and he's come through in the first place. So this is a more aggressive ride by Pepe. He leads the way from Janssen in second against Niels-Kristian Eversen. Back in third, Richard Hall is at the back once again, but this is good news for Ipswich, although of course they were on a 5-1 in heat number 4 until Kroner took his spill. But Janssen and Protasevich, they've certainly got that much more experience of conditions here on this circuit. Everson still chasing hard after Janssen as they come around. The last lap flag is out. It is Protasevich that leads the way from Janssen in second place. Everson, well, he's certainly not giving up as they go down the back straight to the final time. Niels pulls at a tear off with a better vision, and in fact he's taken a little bit of a tumble there, and Richard Hall, well, he's had to lay his bike down as well to avoid his teammate. And well, I think Richard certainly will be awarded third place. We can see here how Niels just lost control, and Richard doing a good job to lay his bike down. It is a 5-1 in heat number 6 to the home side as they now move in front by 20 points to 16. No time in that one. The race awarded, second time in 3 heats. We haven't had an official time as we get ready to move on to heat number 7 then. So the deadlock has been broken at last. I'm not sure if the match ever has gone through 15 heats all shared. I don't think so. But that was a third of the way there. As we come on to heat number 7 line up, we've got Ryan Sullivan off gate number 1. Gate number 2 brings out Mark Loram. Looked very good in his first ride. Everson, well, he's off gate number 3. 2 rides on in a row for Puck. And from the outside it is Carl Wilkinson, who certainly disappointed with the referee's decision in his first outing. So can Ipswich build on that 5-1 in heat number 6? Race 7 gets underway, and Wilkinson off gate number 4 has made a fast start, and so has Mark Loram. His skating has certainly improved this year as Mark. He leads the way from Wilkinson in second spot. Ryan Sullivan, they had some terrific meetings here, but this is not looking like it's going to be one of them. He's scoring 18-point maximum here on one occasion, but he's struggling a bit out of the gate. Everson is also held off in heat 7. So perhaps chances for the Suffolk side to collect the bonus point. It looks like they're going to move 8 points in front very quickly indeed. A 5-1 in heat number 6. Looks like it's going to be followed by another one in heat number 7. Mark Loram out in front. No danger to him. Second place it is Wilco, with Sullivan making a move as they start the final lap. Can Sullivan hold him off? It looks in fact as if he can, because Sullivan's problems on that bend. 1 or 2 riders having trouble on that corner. It's going to be no trouble though for the Ramsky. He wins heat number 7. Second place goes to Carl Wilkinson. Third spot to Ryan Sullivan. Everson at the back, 59.9 the winning time. A second consecutive 5-1. And Ipswich now lead by 8. There's the 2 riders that congratulate each other. Excellent 5-1 in that one. Ipswich now only trail by a couple of points on aggregate. There's Mark. He goes round on a lap of honour. As does Wilco as well. Move on to race number 8 then, 25-17 the score, and this race where it sees Richard Hall coming out of gate number 1, gate number 2 sees Toby Kroner, Ulrich Østergaard is off 3, and Kim Janssen is out off gate number 4. The race is underway, and it is that Janssen has made a pretty good start, but so has Richard Hall down the back straight. Janssen it is though, who leads the way from Hall in second place. Third spot it is Ulrich Østergaard with Toby Kroner. Well, he's at the back in this one. It could be a return to the shared heats in race number 8. And Kim Janssen, well, he's improving with each ride. Started off with a pace second, then a pace win. And it looks like he's going to take a victory in his own right here. He leads the way. But with his teammate Tobias Kroner, Toby as he's known here, he's at the back. It's still going to be 8 points between the 2 teams. Of course, if Peterborough get 9 or more points behind, they can use the tactical ride facility. Trevor Swales, the team manager, will be bringing that in at the earliest opportunity as Janssen wins his first race of the night. 2 points for Hall, 1 to Østergaard, with Krona at the back. Maybe feeling the effects of that exclusion in heat number 4. I didn't get hurt too much. Of course, it was more his bike that bore the brunt of Østergaard. 60.5, Kim's winning time. As he goes round on his customary lap of honour following a win. Very popular here. It's the Swede as we come on to race number 11. Race number 9, the line-up where it sees Hans Andersen coming out off gate number 1, ride replacement, of course, yet to be Jensen, hopes to be back sometime during August, but he's been off for quite some time now. So Andersen's off gate number 1, gate number 2, that sees Chris Louis defeated by Hans in his last ride. Gate number 3 sees Richard Hall still on the trot, and from the outside it is Robert Moscoviak, who led Hans for a couple of laps in heat number 5. He'll go better this time and lead him till lap number 4. Heat number 9 then, it's underway, and Robert Moscoviak, where he's made another brilliant start, this time off gate number 4, he leads away. Chris Louis comes through in the second place, or as you know, Hans Andersen's just got the beating of him around the outside, but it is a heat advantage for the Evening Star Witches as Louis, will he make the move on Andersen, but Andersen's still holding him off. Richard Hall, he's getting a great view of it at the back, as Moscoviak, well, he's still out in front. Remember, he led Hans Andersen for a couple of laps in the heat number 5. And he could possibly be holding him off for the whole of the 4 laps this time around. He leads away. Andersen is in second. Chris Louis is in third. Richard Hall still at the back. It's a 4-2 for the home side. This could see them extend the lead to 10 points as the riders they start the final lap. Moscoviak it is, who's out in front, riding a brilliant race. Hans Andersen in second. Chris Louis, well, he hasn't given up hopes of catching Andersen, but Andersen, well, I think he's going to have to settle for second best himself. Behind Robert Moscoviak, who's certainly learnt from heat number 5. He wins race 9 in great style. Second place goes to Andersen. Third spot to Chris Louis, with Richard Hall at the back. Terrific ride by Robert. A 4-2 for the home side then. 60.1 the winning time. Andersen's defeated for the first time tonight in his third outing. As Ipswich moved 10 points in front and level on aggregate. As Moscoviak, well, sent round on a lap of honour, and so he should be after that. A brilliant ride by him. And what a reception he is getting. And well, back in the pits area there is the young Pole following his victory. The last in his first ride, and he's just beaten Hans Andersen in his third. Well, then he's going over to have a few words with Hans, can't quite see. As we come on to heat number 10 then, and we can see the black and white helmet is out for a tactical ride for Niels-Kristian. He comes out off gate number 1. Off gate number 2 it is Kim Janssen on his last ride. Gate number 3 that sees Ryan Sullivan, and from the outside it is Pepi Protasevich. So the Witches 10 points up at the moment. And well, scores of course level on aggregate. John Fitch, well, he's just I think he's pretty satisfied. Ryan Sullivan, no, I think he wants Pepe moved over slightly, but Pepe, he's not for moving, it doesn't look like. So heat number 10 is about to get underway. Double points for Everson, off gate number 1, upside the tape, and into that turn, well, it is in fact his teammate Sullivan who's made a good gate. But here comes Pepe Protasevich around the outside of a great effort by him, very brave move by Pepe to come through in the first place. With Ryan Sullivan in second, Everson is in third, Kim Janssen who won his last ride. He's at the back, so at the moment it's a 4-3 to Peterborough. Everson, of course, his points count double, he's on at 1 point at the moment. As Sullivan, well, he really needs to let puck through, because then it will in fact be a 5-3 instead of a 4-3 for the visitors. As Pepe Protasevich looks like he's going to take the victory, but Janssen, well, he's still got hopes of finding a way past Everson. And Sullivan, well, he's trying to slow down the Peterborough man to allow Everson through into second place. It looks like he's probably going to do it. It's very tight though, as Everson, well, he does just about get second place there ahead of Ryan Sullivan. The win goes to Pepe Protasevich though. An excellent victory for him. We can see again out of the start, and look at this ride by Pepe. A brave move. There was hardly much of a gap there, but he just manages to squeeze past Sullivan to take the win in a time of 60.3 seconds. It does result in a 5-3 for the visitors then, so the lead cut to 8 points, 35 to 27, as we move on to heat number 11. And this race, it sees Mark Long coming out in red. Mark started off with 2 wins out of 2. He comes out off gate number 1. Gate number 2 sees Ulrich Østergaard. Gate number 3 brings out Carl Wilkinson. And from the outside, it's that man again, Hans Andersen. Just that one defeat by Moscoviak in his last ride. A pretty good match so far, as you'd expect, with a bit of a local derby between these two sides. As we get ready then, heat number 11. Race should be between Lorem off 1 and Anderson off 4. Let's see how it develops. Heat number 11 gets underway, and into that first turn where Anderson's faster gating, held him in good stead there, he leads away. Lorem is in second place. Carl Wilson has done well to come through into third ahead of Østergaard as they come in a complete lap number 1 then, and it is Hans Andersen who leads away from Mark Lorem in second place. If anyone can find a way past Hans, it will be Mark, of course, one of the great overtakers of the modern era, as they come in to complete lap number 2. Andersen, of course, he wants what Mark has already achieved by winning a world title. Anderson more than capable of that. I'm sure he's going to challenge Jason Crump very heavily in that department next season. He's been challenged by Mark Lorem here though in heat number 11, this Elite League B fixture between Ipswich and Peterborough. As if Hans has just about got the speed to inflict the first defeat of the night on Mark Lorem. As they come round, the checkered flag is out, and it is Anderson who wins his third race of the night. Second place goes to Mark, third spot to Carl Wilkinson, with Ulrich Østergaard failing to score in that one. 59.8 the winning time. And the man in heat number 11, 38 points to Ipswich, 30 points to Peterborough. So Ipswich, well, it looks if they hold the upper hand on as far as the match is concerned, but Peterborough, they're still just about holding on to that bonus point at the moment. Back in the pits area, there is Andersen and Østergaard. Niels-Kristian Everson making things pretty easy. Richard Hall also there, and where he's come down into the Ipswich side of the pits. Carl Wilkinson, Chris Louis, Nigel Slingshot Wells, the mechanic of Chris Louis, has been all throughout his racing career. Mark Lorem and JL there, just got a view of the Ipswich promoter. Alvin King as well. That's so much, of course, to bring great coverage to the sport locally. And whoa, well, here we go. Who we got here? Oh, well, that's our referee Paul Carrington having a crafty one. Well, Mickey, enjoy his little moment there as we come on to heat number 11 then. First race after the interval, 10 heats gone. Ipswich leading by 38 points to 30. The line-up for this one, we got Robert Moscoviak coming out in red. In this one, in blue, we've got Toby Croner. In green, it is Ryan Sullivan. And in yellow, it is Richard Hall, who's having a busy night tonight. Is Richard. This is his sixth ride, heat number 11. Gets underway, and well, it is the rider in green, Ryan Sullivan, who's made a fast track from the outside, just as Anderson did in heat number 10, and it is Sullivan that leads the way from Moscoviak in second. No mean gaiter himself, of course, with Croner in third and Richard Hall at the back. All these minor points are certainly very important indeed as the meeting falls up into the latter stages, and Toby Croner, well, he's doing well to hold off Paul as they go into lap number 3. Sullivan, where he's scored page 5 from his 3 rides so far, yet to have a race victory. It looks like there's one on the cards for him in heat number 11, heat number 12, he's out in front, and it means Peterborough still narrowly hold on to that advantage for the bonus point as Sullivan's out in first place. He's going to win heat number 12. Second place goes to Moscoviak. Didn't let him out of his sights, but was unable to find a way past, with Toby Croner in third. Richard Hall at the back. 61.1 the winning time. The slowest time of the meeting so far. Sully won't be too bothered about that, I don't think. He gets paid for his 3 points. And that's our second shared heat in a row. It means there's still 8 points between the two teams on the night and 2 points between the two teams on aggregate in Peterborough's favour. As we move on to one of the big heats coming up, race number 13. Hans Anderson, he comes out off gate number 1, just the one defeat for him so far by Robert Moscoviak. Off gate number 2, it is Pepe Protasevich. Gate number 3, well, that sees Ryan Sullivan on the trot for him. Ride replacement out in. And nearest the camera, it is Mark Lorem, who himself has just suffered the one defeat. Of course, that was at the hands of Hans Anderson a couple of heats ago. So race number 13 is about to get underway. Big heat coming up. Looks like we're just about settled at the start line then. Fast and furious Speedway action we've had on this sultry Saturday night at Foxhall Heath. Heat number 13 gets underway into that first turn. It looks as if Lorem has made a good gate. He has indeed. Gate 4 working particularly well in the latter heat. He leads the way from Hans Anderson in second. Sullivan is in third with Protasevich. He's at the back, a lap gone, and it is Lorem who leads from Hans Anderson giving chase. Sullivan hold on to that third place ahead of Protasevich. Can Mark Lorem keep Anderson at bay? It'll be Hans' second defeat of the meeting. Invariably, he either wins all his races each night or gets, well, normally about 17 points, and he could well be onto a similar score here tonight, but it is Mark Lorem who's holding him off at the moment. Anderson, well, there's a telltale sign. He looks behind to see what's going on. There you see that it is Sullivan in third place. Protasevich, he's going to fail to score for the first time this evening. He's only been beaten in heat number 1 by Hans Anderson, but he's getting beaten by the other 3 riders in this one as Mark Lorem, he wins heat number 13. He gets his revenge over Hans following that defeat a couple of races ago. Anderson in second, Sullivan is in third, Protasevich at the back. 1 minute exactly the winning time. A terrific ride there by Mark as he and Hans shake hands. Sullivan in third. It does mean that Ipswich still, well, they're 8 points in front. They've almost got the match sewn up. But can they go on and get that also important bonus point? And so the riders, well, they are at this start but the start line in for this very important heat number 14. And the lineup where we've got Carl Wilkinson coming out off gate number 1, gate number 2, that sees Joel Parsons. He should be off gate number 4, but we'll come to that in a minute because Chris Lewis off gate 3 and look who is off gate number 4, but 15 metres back, that is Hans Andersen coming out as a tactical substitute, replacing Niels-Kristian. So a brave move by Trevor Swells. Will it pay dividends? Hans, with his points, will score double if he can beat an opponent that's say starting off a 15 metre handicap. And well, we'll have to wait and see if it will work in Peterborough's favour. Heat number 14, a brave move this by Trevor Swells. The race is underway, and Chris Louis made a brilliant start. He leads away from Carl Wilkinson in second. Joel Parsons is in third. I don't think he's going to be there for very long because here comes Anderson and the race is now on. So any points if Hans Andersen find a way past Carl Wilkinson, he will score double points. That would be a four points for him, of course, as they come round to complete lap number 2. It is Chris Lewis on his way to what would be his second race win of the night, and Anderson, well, he has found a way past Wilkinson. No real surprise there, but I don't think he's going to be able to close in on Chris Lewis, and well, that of course would result in a 4-all, which would mean that Ipswich, well, they still need a 4-2 in the last race to force a run off of the bonus point. A 5-2, a 5-1 rather, would win it for them. As Chris Louis, we could well be seeing him out in the final race. He's going to take the check in heat 14. He wins it from Anderson. He scores 4 points. Third place goes to Carl Wilkinson, with Joel Parsons at the back. He's done pretty well tonight. Paid 4, 60.2 the winning time. As Luby, well, he wins that one. And well, I say a 4-all, heat number 14. So Ipswich, well, I wonder if they'll be happy with that result. They do need something for this final race if they're going to have a chance of the bonus point. So the riders, well, they are out for heat number 15 then, and tense times indeed. The lineup, well, Mike Smiley, he has gone for Chris Louis in red off gate number 1, and his teammates will be Mark Lorham off gate number 3, Trevor Swells, he's plumped for Brian Sullivan off gate number 2, and that man Hans Anderson off gate number 4. Hans, of course, if he can take the victory here, that will be good enough to give Peterborough something out of this match. Ipswich, of course, need a 4-2 or a 5-1, 4-2 to get a run off, a 5-1 to collect the points. So it's the old firm of Louis and Lorham who have got to pull it out of the fire in this one. Heat number 15 promises to be a tense final race. Start master walks away. Paul Carrington, he releases the tapes, and Hans Anderson has released his clutch very fast indeed. That gate 4 working exceptionally well. He leads the way down the back straight. Chris Lewis in second. Sullivan and Lorham are racing for third place. 2 former teammates at Peterborough as they come around and complete the opening lap. Louis looking for Lorham. Mark, well, he really is the rider, needs to get through in the second place. He's got more chance probably of overtaking Hans Anderson on tonight's performance. As they come round to complete lap number 2, it is Anderson though who's set himself a home, and this will give Peterborough the bonus point here this evening as they go down the back straight for the third time. Former Vauxhall favourite Hans Anderson it is then, who looks like he's going to dent Ipswich's good night here this evening. They had a great weather, massive crowd, a good team performance, but it's not going to be go all their own way as Peterborough are going to collect the important bonus point. And Anderson, we just wins it by 5 lengths from Mark Lorham. Terrific end to that race. Third spot goes to Chris Louis. Brian Sullivan fails to score for the first time tonight. 1 minute exactly the winning time. A 51-43 victory for the home side. But Peterborough, as we say, they secure that vital bonus point. How crucial will that be come the end of August or early September when the playoff deadline is reached? A terrific effort by Mark Lorham and the whole of the Ipswich team at Peterborough just come out on top, say, for the extra point as the riders go back to the pits. And Hans Anderson, he goes round on a lap of honour. We give you this evening's points scorers, starting with the ASL Freight Panthers, and that man Hans Anderson in your picture, magnificent effort by him. Scored 20 points from 7 rides, including 4 race victories. Ulrich Østergaard 2-1 from his 4 outings. Ryan Sullivan, he chipped in with 7 and 3 bonus from his 6. There's Mark that receives the Rider of the Night award. Niels-Kristian, he finished with 6 points, including 4 points for a tactical ride. A couple of last places for him. Richard Hall scored 5 from 6, and Joel Parsons did well, 3 and 1 from his 3 outings. Here come the victorious Ipswich Even Star Witches, for whom Pepe Protasevich scored 8 points. Was doing well to his final rider. He failed to score. Kim Jansen steady, 6 and 2. Rodney Skelviak shows he beat Hans Anderson 7 from 4. Chris Louis 9 and 2. Steady night. Mark Lauren top scorer 13. Cole Wilkinson 4 and 2. Toby Croner 4 and 1. Good all-round team performance by the Witches. Just missing out as they go round on a lap of honour. And well, I think we're going to have a few words with one of their team members. I think it's going to be young Cole Wilkinson.
Here we are then at the end of this Witches versus Panthers clash. The bikes you can hear behind us are not Witches riders, Panthers riders practising at Ipswich. I don't quite understand that, but hopefully John Louis will invoice them for the track time. Cole Wilkinson joins us. A good win for the Witches, but not enough to get the bonus.
No, it was a bit unfortunate. We had a couple of things went against us. My heat 2 exclusion to give us another couple of, 2 points on ours, 2 off theirs. And, Toby had an unfortunate fall as well, and Wye was on a 5-1. So, without those little things going against us, like, John Lewis said, we'd have, romped them home, really.
As you'd have seen, viewers, from Heat 2, Carl Wilkinson excluded, and those 2 points alone would have been enough to secure the bonus points without all the other ifs and buts, and that's when it sort of becomes crucial to the result, a decision like that.
Yeah, that's it. I think what makes it a bit more bitter is, it was somewhat of a controversial decision, so, if it was, genuinely my fault, you take it on the chin a bit more, but to have something taken from you rather than lose it yourself, it's a bit more gut-wrenching.
But you must be pleased from your 3 completed rides, still all scoring rides, and paid 6 points in the Elite League, which is good for any reserve.
Yeah, that's it. I'm happy with that. I had a disastrous meeting here last time. I just couldn't put my finger on it. And I've done some work to the bikes and gone through them to get them exactly how I want them, and they performed a lot better. And, it's down to me now to pick the rest up.
Well, we think your last performance, partly due to the fact your partner Claire was about to give birth, that's happened now last Wednesday. Baby Ellie's here, £6, 10 ounces, and all going well?
Yeah, it's going fine. Keeping us up all hours, but, hopefully over the next couple of weeks it'll calm down. Thankfully, I've got nothing on next week, so, if she is keeping us up into the small hours, it's not going to affect my racing.
I think it's fair to say, I've been watching Speedway for 30 odd years, and riders, when they become fathers, you can see a slight change in their performance because it's only natural, and like I say, now that's out of the way, that the Speedway you can fully concentrate on for say Ipswich and Newport.
That's it. It's Speedway is one of those sports where you've got 60 seconds to make an impact on a race, not like a road race and you've got a half-hour race and you can sort of take it a bit more leisurely. It's one of those sports where you've got to be on a mission from the word go, and I think it does make you that, sort of in the back of your mind without you realising that you are that little bit more wary, if things at home are playing on your mind and that. But like you say, everything's hunky-dory and that now, so hopefully I'll be back to my usual form.
It's great news. Peterborough, of course, tipped by many to be up there challenging for the championship. Next week it doesn't get any easier. Reading, so another tough test for the Witches.
Yeah, Peterborough, they are a quality side. They've got riders like Hans. Jesper's out injured, but he was a good rider for them. Ryan and Niels Everson, they've got a very strong top 5 that are capable of scoring good points at any track, and the same with Reading. They started off a little bit slow to the year, but now they've gelled together. They are a big force, and Ipswich is one of those tracks where if you are willing to race on it, an away rider can quite easily win races. So the Witches are going to have to be on the toes.
Good. Okay. Thanks very much. That's Carl Wilkinson, and. The referee apparently has asked for the DVD from Heat 2 to look at, so maybe he's not sure he made the right decision.
Oh, good stuff. If he didn't, you owe me a beer.
But I don't know if he can change the decision, unfortunately. That's not within his capabilities, but we have shown such luminaries as Frank Ebden before now, DVD footage after meetings, and he's admitted he's wrong, so maybe Mr. Carrington will do the same tonight.
Well, that's it, Admittedly, some of the refs don't have the clearest view on you know, of incidents on the track. It depends, you know, where the riders are and what angle they're looking at, and they can get mistaken. Sometimes I think if you've got a front wheel in front and you're on the inside, you are controlling the you know, that race really. And I think a little bit more discretion on some decisions needs to be taken. But you know, like you say, it went against me this time. It could go for me another time. So you know, you might feel bitter on the day, but you know, tomorrow's another one, isn't it?
Exactly, and that's why we love the sport of Speedway so much. It's Carl Wilkinson, and thanks to Mick for that latest stop press news coming in. Of course, Mick has the best seat in the house, of course, on top of the grandstand, above the start-finish line. So he'd have captured all the action for you tonight. And you have seen some cracking Speedway here. Saturday night, it's all right for fighting, it's all right for Speedway as well, with the Panthers in town. But the Witches winning 51 to the Panthers 43. Not enough to secure the bonus point, but two precious Sky Sports Elite League points for the Witches nonetheless. Can't hardly get my breath, sorry. The action comes back to Foxhall next Thursday with fellow championship chasers, the Reading Bulldogs, in town. So why not? Join us again on ReRun Productions. Goodbye.